Good afternoon, SpeedGaming 3. We're just going to get started in a few seconds with this next race for our HMG 2025 tournament between HolySmoke and MrByer. This is the first of their potentially three matches in our second round here. So for those of you who are not familiar with HMG, just a small primer before we get started. This is the regular link to the past randomizer, but with glitches included in the logic. So that includes most glitches that we can do on the overworld, and in HMG this includes a few different glitches that we can do in the underworld, in particular clipping between Spectacle Rock Cave and Palace of Darkness, clipping between Maya, Hera, and Swamp as well. On top of skipping the initial first room in Ice Palace, skipping a fire requirement there potentially. Okay, looks like we're just getting finished setting up. MrByer had a quick controller reconnection. So we've had an interesting tournament already. There's been a few pretty interesting races, and we've got a lot more coming up. This is pretty early in the bracket, so you can expect to see a lot more of these. There is, in an hour, starting another one over on SpeedGaming 1. Depending on when this one finishes, you'll hear me over there too, if I switch over. And then we've got 2, potentially 3 games with myself and Sky on this weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. All right, I have appreciate that, Spleeby. I have think I've got that fixed. Yep. Okay, looks like we're just about to get started finally. Will makes a good point. You want to stay here so that you can see the fun glitches of swimming through walls, flying through walls, lots of other things that you wouldn't usually see in A Link to the Past. Okay, we see MrByer starting with the Sank start here, and HolySmoke has started in Link's house. So this is 2 very regular routes that we have to very often start with. HolySmoke checking the Lake Hylia Island and a few of the other checks here. MrByer is going to check check Bunker Rocks and then head up through the forest, most likely. So we do see that paying out with a bottle for HolySmoke early. Now that can be useful in a few cases. We are allowed to do overworld YBAs in this, which allows us to perform certain glitches. Namely, the most common one we'll see is either duping an item, or we will potentially see it used to gain link state in the dark world without the moon pearl. Now, that's not in logic, but it is totally legal for the players to do. And we see an early moon pearl here in the Lost Woods. So this opens up a lot with that moon pearl. Basically, the entire light world and dark world are open to us, and so there is a lot of choice to go from this point out. So we're gonna see where the two guys go. Nothing on Agina's ledge today, so we won't be killing Aghanim at all. There's no reason to. Like I said, we already have full Dark World access with that moon pearl, so there's absolutely no reason to finish that off. So you can see on MrByer's side some of the clips that we were talking about. First clipped up to the Death Mountain from Lumberjack House, and then quickly across Spectacle Rock Cave. This is a very, very common early route. We save the Old Man at this point. That gives us an extra save quit point at this point. We're going to use this a lot. We use the mountain as kind of a hub to get everywhere that we want to go. So with the bottle in hand, looks like HolySmoke might be heading down to Kakariko. Normally we want to put off Kakariko until we've got something else to do that there, whether that be having the flute to activate that or having a bottle to turn it into Sick Kid. With no bombs early, we're going to farm a couple here just to let us do those bomb checks in there as well. So we do see the danger of being on Death Mountain with 3 hearts on MrByer's side. It's quite easy to get bodied by the dead rocks and the falling boulders, but he manages to dodge them and make our way down to Graveyard Ledge, which is a great bomb farm this early in the game. Quick item check, and then a bit of health. So we see the lamp and the bow and the blue tunic on HolySmoke's side, as well as ether. So we've got a lot of stuff just in Blind's Hut in Kakariko. There is a lot of checks here, so this is, you know, you do want to check it early. Even if you get that moon pearl, you still want to come here relatively early. MrByer's heading down to South Shore instead. We've got some bombs now, so we can either cross from here over to Agina, or we can go over to Minimodom Cave. Second bottle on HolySmoke's side, so plenty of things in Kakariko today. And MrByer heading over to Mini Moldorm Cave. Gonna fight with the Moldorms with a few bombs. Very nicely done there. Getting those two on the left in a single bomb can sometimes be tricky, but we just about got them. And we get some health, a little bit of money, and the third bottle of the game that we see as well. So on HolySmoke side, we finished in Kakariko, and now we're going to head down to the race game, potentially down to Desert Palace here. Oh, so that jump from HolySmoke side, unfortunately, is a soft lock. Once you're in that position, the guy is going to sit there and talk to you forever, complaining that you're trying to sneak in. So we lose out on the 300 there. But we see both of our runners heading to the eastern area, gonna check out Sahasrahla. Now, HolySmoke does have the bow and knows the eastern is a crystal, so it could decide to dip in here. Oh, we get a fire rod and a bottle out of the back of Saha, and we find out that our green pendant is Swamp Palace. So MrByer does the check as well, finds out that we've got Hera as a pendant, and is instead of going to Eastern, MrByer doesn't have a bow. We're going to clip up and potentially pick up a potion. Yeah, looks that way. Well, meanwhile, Smoke's going to head into Eastern Palace. Like I said, we're a bit low health, but with the fire rod and the bow, we can quite easily clear everything out. The vanilla big key chest is not in logic, but everything else is with that fire rod. Looks like we get an early big key, so nice and easy. So while I was talking about that, MrByer does what we call a swim clip. So by setting up a swim on a diagonal slope, this lets us swim through the terrain, and as long as we stay in a straight line, we can completely clip through any terrain we want. We use this in a few places. MrByer's used it here to get to King's Tomb quickly, saving another clip down from the mountain. But we'll also sometimes see it used for getting Pyramid Fairy checked early as well. Okay, MrByer's heading into Kakariko and is going to pick up all them goods that HolySmoke got. So on HolySmoke side, we have seen 2 dungeon items, which means the vanilla big key chest is guaranteed to have an item. So looks like we're gonna head through that way, even in the dark, and see what's over there. Oh, we have the lamp. I tracked it and forgot about it, so we've got no darkness here at all. Everything is easy. And a bit of luck we didn't skip that chest, because that is our first sword of the game. So no, quadrant glitch is not allowed in this mode. That is a no logic only glitch. Any door glitches, any kind of quadrant glitch, anything that might allow you to take weird transitions is not allowed in this mode. MrByer just finishes up cleaning Kakariko here. HolySmoke has made their way all the way through Eastern now. So Bayer's coming to the south of Kakariko from the normal way, which means we're not going to risk that soft lock that HolySmoke got, and probably means we'll pick up the 300, so we're good for Zora when we want to go there. Okay, and we finish off our most nights, and we get a crystal and the flippers for our time. So we do know that Swamp Palace is the green pendant. MrByer picks up a sword there on Desert Edge. We do know that Swamp Palace is the green pendant, so flippers are definitely not needed. At least not to kill the boss. We may, of course, need something still in there. So Bayer's in Desert Palace now. We've got the Fire Rod. Normally, you would also need a glove to be able to clear Desert Palace, but with a small clip, we can bypass the rocks block in the back, and we can just go straight there just with our Fire Rod. So picking up a little bit of magic here is probably going to help to finishing off the dungeon. Can be a little bit faster to come back later, depending on equipment, but Lambo may also have an item that's 100% in logic with this current equipment, so we'll see what Bayer decides to do. HolySmoke is clearing up some more of the overworld, checking some of the bits that they might have got if they hadn't have softlocked earlier. Realizes we don't have the glove. As much as I said we can clip into that little area, we cannot clip back out. We are stuck there once we do that, so we want to clear off any other checks we do here first, and we definitely want the bid key before we head back there. Yeah, we see MrByer still filling up on magic, so definitely looks like we're going to be heading to the back afterwards. Only one item as well, so Lambo does have an item. It seems like it's a worthwhile play here to go straight to the back. Looks like HolySmoke is going to the mountain now. We have many ways to get to the mountain, and we've seen different ways by both of our runners. This is a slightly older tech that we use to get there, but it is gets us there nonetheless. And we're gonna save the old man, get that save quick point. Okay, so it looks like Bayer went to Ina instead, and is safe and quitting out of there, so we are going to leave Desert for later. We're skipping that one item, but with only a fighter sword and a bow and some fire rod shots, it can be a bit of a slow fight, so... Looks like we're going to head over to Eastern and catch up with what HolySmoke has done. Bayer's going to get his flippers, while HolySmoke shows us our first dip into Tower of Hera. Now, Hera is also a pendant in this, so 2 of our 3 HMG dungeons are pendants, unfortunately, in this seed. And we'll see what we get out of this second chest. So it is the big key, so that does mean that in this particular seed, Tower of Hera is not locked by MrByer. In this particular logic set, we do allow that big key to be placed completely randomly within the dungeon. And if it's placed upstairs, or the small key is upstairs and the big key is in its vanilla location, then you are logically required to clip to Tower of Hera from MrByer. It's going to be an interesting sequence of events depending on what you get. So these days, a lot of us know about Hera pots, so we can get up through Hera with just the hook shot and don't need that big key. A lot of people use that, but it's not in logic, so we do the players are expected to have Maya access, and depending on how well you're keeping track, you can really glean some information about the seed from that. So HolySmoke finishing up on some of these light world dense checks. Gonna finish this up and then finish up Paradox Caves for another 7 items. And then we'll see what we're up to at that point. We do have, like I said at the beginning, we do have the Dark World completely open to us with that Moon Pearl. So other common plays at this point are South Dark World to go to Hype Cave, check the Misery Maya Medallion, and then head up to Thieves Town, or potentially coming the other way. We do have the Fire Rod, which means we can clear Skullwoods if we want to. Okay, MrByer also not skipping that chest, so we're gonna get their second sword, and as I say it, we see HolySmoke getting Master Sword out of Paradox Cave, so 3 relatively easy sword locations for the first 3 swords in this one. We see a book. And not much else out of Paradox 5. HolySmoke showing us this clip that we are going to see plenty of times in this race, which is save quits at Old Man and clip up to Hera. It is faster to do this than it is to walk up the mountain. And we're going to check tablet with this book. Just a piece of heart today. Looks like we're going to head into the Dark World. We'll get our first Dark World information here. So that is, yeah, Swamp Palace Green and Skullwoods Blue Pendant. And MrByer finishes off Armos, gets the flippers for what they for their efforts. The pendants in this one are not the greatest, so we have probably one of the broadest requirements of items, minus technically the hook shot, although that depends on whether our runners can hover and or Moldorm bounce. But we are going to need both rods, we're going to need some Aria. Technically, we're going to need a hammer, and we are going to need a hammer for Ice Palace regardless. So there is an extra glitch we can do in this mode called Basement Clip. That allows you to skip either the bow or the hammer requirement in Palace of Darkness, but you cannot skip the hammer requirement in Ice Palace in this mode, so we're going to need hammer as well for that. So we've still got a while to go with this one. HolySmoke is going through Village of Outcasts. As I said, there's kind of 2 ways you take this, and this is one of the more common ones. We can clear out Thieves Town, although if you go in at this point you are skipping an item, so it makes sense to kind of clear out these checks in advance, just in case you pick up that hammer. And MrByer, after finishing off Eastern Palace, is gonna follow HolySmoke over East Death Mountain and clear up the checks that we've already got there. They will get their Tempered Sword for their efforts. So not much in Village of Outcasts. Gonna head into Thieves Town and clear out what we can here. With a bit of luck we get all of the items and not leave something behind in the big chest. So we do also know that Thieves Town and Desert Palace are our red pendants. Now logically, we could still be required to get them and hand in the big bomb. We do have the mirror, which allows us to get into Pyramid Ferry in logic from Death Mountain, but we also have swim clipping available to us, which lets us get in with no other requirements. HolySmoke putting that mirror to good use, clearing off some of these light world checks that we lost by that soft lock earlier during the clip we did. Meanwhile, MrByer is going to check off some of these water checks that weren't done earlier. So another common route that we didn't see from either of these players is actually to check the Hobo and Ice Rod Cave into the Waterfall Ferry and Zora Ledge early. We didn't see that from either of these players, but we're going to see exactly what I'm talking about from MrByer now. So we're going to use one of them swim clips I've mentioned a few times and use this diagonal ledge, swim clip, and swim straight through the terrain into Ice Rod Cave, skipping all of the big roundabout we have to do at the bottom. Just some rupees. And arming the water walk for making it easy, very quick to get to Zora area. The dash we do there dashes off diagonally, so we retain our water walk state and it stays armed and lets us continue after jumping off the waterfall. And now we'll go check the island item because we didn't check that. It's a bottle. Apparently Bio wants the 4th bottle, so changed our minds. Heard the judgment in my voice, apparently. I'm gonna head to the Zora checks instead. HolySmoke having a little bit of a faster time with Desert, with the fact that we have that mirror to quite easily get back here. We do see 2 heart pieces in the Waterfall Ferry. Can be a bit risky for that early play that I mentioned. You end up with a 4th heart piece while you don't have real flippers, and you will get dunked by the ferry. Luckily we had Moon Pearl quite early in this scene, so it wouldn't have been too much of a problem. And we see the hook shot there on MrByer's side on Zora Ledge, so both players are going to be able to pick that up relatively easy. That will make a few glitches a bit easier. Where we need spin speed, we can use hook speed. We'll make climbing Tower of Hera if we decide to do that a bit easier, and of course unlocks Swamp Palace, although with it being a pendant we don't exactly want to head there. We do see HolySmoke heading into the back of Desert, which MrByer did not do earlier, so we'll see what MrByer missed out on by not killing Lambo. HolySmoke does have much better equipment for this, having tempered swords, so should be a really good fight for them. We'll see what MrByer is going to do with that hookshot, if we're going to use it now or we're going to go somewhere else. Lucky miss there, but manages to catch the final Lambolas. Just some rupees, but that is our 2nd crystal down for HolySmoke, bringing us to 2 crystals to 1 crystal. So MrByer is heading to East Darth Death Mountain here. Luckily avoids getting soft locked on that rock there. If you dash at just the wrong height, you can land squarely in the middle and get nice and stuck there, requiring a save quit, but we managed to avoid that, and we're actually entering Hookshot Cave from the back. We don't have our gloves, so we can't get in the front, but a quick clip off the bottom, wrapping ourselves around to the top of the screen, and lets us enter the back entrance. We are rewarded with a mushroom. Some very nice new tech spacewalking there by MrByer to get that last chest nice and quickly without having to fall in the pit. That is a relatively new tech that was discovered. So it's nice to see it getting play. Gonna finish off with Super Bunny Cave here. On HolySmoke's side, we've mainly been covering things that MrByer already did, so... not too much new scene just yet. Okay, and we're gonna see our Turtle Rock medallion requirement. We see that it's Quake, but very unlikely that we're going to use that. Instead, we're going to click down here to Catfish, and this is probably one of the best times to check it when you're on the East End here. On HolySmoke's side, we see what I was talking about earlier with the mirror of checking Pyramid Fairy. This is the logical way if you're not going to kill both of the red crystal bosses. We see a very quick and nice and quick fake flute from MrByer there. So by using a blue potion on the same frame, you take a transition in the overworld, you get a fake flute, and that allows you to use the flute in the dark world. This leaves us with what looks like the light world, but is in fact the dark world. Now, we often use this to get link state quite early, but in this case we're just using it as a nice quick way to get around the map. And on HolySmoke's side, we're heading into... we've done Uncle, found our red boomerang, and we're going to head into Hyrule Castle here. This can be a little bit out of the way depending on what you've got left to do. But if you've come from the pyramid, it's one of the best times that you're going to be here to actually check these things. MrByer is into Pendant Skullwoods. Are we going to just one and done, or are we going to check some of the rest? No, we are one and done. And gonna head into Village of Outcasts. We'll see if MrByer clears up Thieves Town. We saw HolySmoke do the front 4, but then bailed out. Like I said, with no hammer, can't get that last chest. Can't get the big chest, so calculate the decision of whether you continue or leave at that point. Bit of a slippery chest there on HolySmoke's side, but we get it. Okay, and we are going to head to Dark Cross here as well. We haven't checked the back of Escape. That is, without the gloves, logically you can either traverse the whole of Hyrule Castle. Logically that's it, but we can use one of them swim clips to bypass the rocks at the front if we are so inclined. And just 50 rupees, which means the small key is in the back of Escape. Might affect whether we're interested in going there early or not at some point. Okay, and MrByer gets the 4th chest here and decides to continue on, so we're going to see the rest of Thieves Town here that we didn't see from HolySmoke. HolySmoke, meanwhile, is we've wrapped the screen. We did pop into Spike Cave there to reset the fact that we accidentally picked up a bush, which we definitely didn't want to do. You cannot drop it, you cannot get hurt by anything. And with the screen wrapped, we're actually going to jump off here, and we're going to do what we call the super jump. And we're going to fly across the screen 4 times, and then another 4 times, transition left, and this is going to put us right at the bottom of the map with Swamp Palace and Misery Mire. We do need to enter Swamp Palace to fix our camera, But once we've done that, we're at the South Dark World, which without any kind of glove is the fastest way to get there. And start with them high density checks, gonna head into Hype Cave. Another common thing to do here is to check the MrByer medallion. It is a crystal, we do need that medallion to finish off the seed. We find Cane of Samaria in Hype Cave. So that is definitely one of the items that we were going to need to defeat this seed. Some nice bomb strats from MrByer there, scaring the skeleton into the bomb. Stalfos, there we go. So we see MrByer mirroring at this point. If we don't have a glove and we're not checking the big chest, it is faster to mirror and run from the front again than it is to run all the way out of the back. So nice routing here. And we see HolySmoke exactly as I said, gonna go check that Maya area, get a couple of items from Maya Shed, and check the Maya medallion requirement. So we get our 4th sword there, and we just barely caught that MrByer was Ether. Which means with that Cane of Samaria we got from Hype Cave, we can't fully clear MrByer. MrByer has a bit of an unfortunate route here, coming from Village of Outcasts, means that we're gonna see MrByer, and then there's gonna be a decision on, do we go in without Cane of Samaria, or do we wait for it to turn up? Now we of course know that it is in Hype Cave, so HolySmoke's route here is kind of paid out in this particular circumstance. Nothing on Dig Game, just a heart piece. And yeah, we're gonna head down. MrByer could use this as an opportunity to clear out Desert Palace. We did leave that earlier. On the HolySmoke side, we see a really early big key. We are not in go mode, so we're not gonna beeline straight for the boss, but it is nice to have early. I say that, and we are going to beeline the boss, so... Of course, if there is an item on Vitreous, then we have a lot less searching we have to do afterwards. And indeed, MrByer is going to clear up Landmolus here, and shortly take the lead in crystals. We see a relatively straightforward Maya basement here. We have the lamp, so it is not a problem for us. We haven't gone through the rest of the dungeon, so we haven't hit the switch. We do get a nice AD spooky from HolySmoke side. Saves us bombing that wall up the top and hitting the switch. We typically see AD spooky in this case, where we throw Samaria into the pit and change our altitude value that way, because we very rarely come to MrByer with the flute. Of course, Gold Sword and Cape is going to make this fight really quick, and phase 2 most likely with the bow. going to clean up Vitreous very quickly. And that evens us up to 3 crystals for both players. So at this point we're still looking for a glove, the hammer, and the ice rod to be able to finish out the seed. Neither player has headed to GT yet, but that is an option. We have the whole of the right side available to us. Although potentially not in logic without that hammer, depending on the key layout. MrByer is going to finish up these Dark World checks, most likely run to the Cane of Samaria. HolySmoke's checking that second tablet for us and gets red mail. MrByer is going to do the same thing with a very big jump all the way down to the tablet area. So HolySmoke is draining the dam here. We're likely just going to check the first chest of Swamp Palace here, maybe? No, we haven't done South Shore at all, actually. We weren't in the Dark World, we're in the Light World, so we're not doing that. We could have potentially checked that. We do have the flippers if we were still in the Dark World. Swamp Palace, as I said, we can be expected to come from Maya to Swamp Palace, because that small key that you would most often find in the first chest can be placed anywhere in the dungeon, requiring you to come from Maya to unlock the dungeon. There is a 1 in 10 chance that it is just in that first chest, vanilla, and that does let you access Swamp the regular way. This Moltorm is being particularly slippery on HolySmoke's side. MrByer does pick up Arcane of Samaria though, so that's going to let them clear out Maya as and when they want to. Yeah, and HolySmoke's going to finish off some of these checks that MrByer did earlier. MrByer taking the other way into Pyramid Fairy that I mentioned earlier. So this is a swim clip. This is not in logic, but it's perfectly legal for us to do in this mode. And it's a lot quicker if you're already down this way than going all the way back up to the mountain to use the mirror. We know we're not going to find anything there, but of course MrByer doesn't know that. So a couple of dense areas that we would potentially have normally seen by now is Palace of Darkness. Palace of Darkness is actually available right off the bat in HMG. We don't need any equipment or anything to get in there and start checking items. Of course, some of the locations are locked by the lamp or the fire rod, depending on the dark logic, and the boss is locked by the hammer and whatnot, but some of the checks are available quite early, and with some very well-known glitches you can clear out a lot. The other being GT. So with the Fire Rod and Samaria, we have the whole right side, the 5 items there. We've got the 2 items in Hope Room and the 1 on the Torch all available to us. We do need to kill Aga 2 in this mode. It is a requirement, and so we are going to see both players climbing GT. Now, we do also know that we need the hammer in this particular seed to be able to clear out Ice Palace, but in some seeds, if you don't need the hammer, and the big key is early or on the right side, then you don't have to clear left side at all. So MrByer heading back to the Dark World here, while HolySmoke goes to get their hook shot. Looks like Byer is going to head to Maya with this super jump again. Now, if we're going to Maya directly, if you know the path, you don't actually have to use Swamp Palace to correct your camera. You can actually navigate to the Maya entrance with a broken camera. It requires a decent amount of practice to know where you're dashing, and looks like MrByer is going to head that way. So you'll see the camera stays where it is, and you'll see MrByer dashing off the top and up the bottom, and vice versa. But makes it nicely onto the platform, and we get a nice scrolly scroll with the beam of light coming down, opening up MrByer. MrByer saw that it was ether earlier, knew we had that medallion, so as long as you know where you're supposed to stand, you can activate it and get the entrance open. We get this really nice screen scrolling. Okay, so we are back to our runners following each other a little bit here. HolySmoke finishing up the Dark World East Death Mountain checks. MrByer's heading into MrByer. So one thing I haven't mentioned is that we do need to clear Ice Palace in this particular seed. Ice Palace is still locked by the MITs in HMG. We have several other routes to be able to get into Ice Palace. Namely, we can do a mirror wrap, but this is not in logic, but it's legal. We can do a YBA, which will allow us to get in. We can do a flippers wrap, and you can also swim clip in if you don't have the flippers. And if you know that. But logically, you are required to have the Titan Smiths to be able to get into Ice Palace. All of the wraps that I mentioned require some very difficult movement, which potentially can hard lock you. And so they were removed from the logic a little while ago. Yeah, HolySmoke is unfortunately a little bit too high here. So is going to most likely get stuck on this boulder. Yeah. You have to be on just the right bump there to be able to dump off the bottom. So we'll see if they decide to go back and give it another go. Looks like not. Looks like we're potentially heading to GT, considering we've already cleared Maya on HolySmoke's side. And so we clip off, much like we get to Hera, we can get to GT as well. Means we don't need any of the crystals to get in, and we can start doing those checks I mentioned earlier. MrByer with the fake powder on the anti-fairy there. If you're already at no magic, then and you've got the mushroom, why not take the refill at that point? So we see Bombos in Hope Room. We don't need that this seed. We've already got Fire Rod, so we don't need it for Ice Palace. We don't need it for entry into any of our dungeons. So we get a bit of a pause here while HolySmoke is doing Tile Room. Makes sense to check this early. If the big key is here, it does mean we can check the big key chest, the big chest on the way down. MrByer misses the first dash for the switch, but does also arm AD Spooky and gets it quite nicely. Once again, saving us a little bit of time there. HolySmoke, meanwhile, making our way through right side GT to Compass Room. We've got 4 chests there. We can continue on all the way to Ice Armos as well. So we've got 8 checks that we can get here, 9 if we find the big key along the way. That gold sword making clean work of those small eyeballs. And Vitreous down for MrByer. We find the powder on HolySmoke's side, but that is it. So we've got 4 more chances to find that big key to be able to climb GT. A nice use of the cape here to get through this gauntlet. So MrByer is heading back into Maya, most likely going to be clipping into Hera, and then most likely Swamp as well, I would guess. Swamp does have 6 items in it, and we haven't seen upstairs Hera from either runner. Doing this clip means that, as far as the game is concerned, we are still in Maya state, and that means that we can use the big key that we have from Maya to open the big chest in Hera and the big chest in Swamp without needing to find their dungeon's big keys. So, considering both of them are pendant dungeons, we could see quite a bit of exploration here in Maya state, allowing us to use them 2 keys and the big key that we have. HolySmoke finishing up with Ice Armos here, 3 more chances for the big key. And we find half magic, some bombs, and just the map. So we're going to need Hammer to progress any further in GT for this seed. Oh, MrByer was checking the big key chest. I didn't realize that we left an item there. So it was just 20 rupees, so... do see HolySmoke checking out the top of Hera. We did get the big key to Hera while we were in the lobby, so we can check the big chest here. We had 1 item in the basement cage, but if Moldorm doesn't have that second item, we're probably not going to want to spend that small key to go to Swamp Palace, because there is an item in the basement that we're potentially leaving. MrByer in Cave State Pod, so took that clip from Spectacle Rock into Pod, and in HMG we virtually always just open that first door, saving us a key, and then leave again. The reason we do that is we don't open chests because we don't want to find the big key. If we find the big key to Pod while we're in Cave State, that big key is deleted. It becomes a Cave State big key, it activates a few other big keys, but importantly it means that you are hard required to do a basement clip to complete your seed in that case. So we don't explore Palace of Darkness in Cave State, we just open the 1 door. He did transition up, which made me a little worried for a split second, but decided to just head back down instead. So we did see HolySmoke finish off Hera there. We didn't get that last item. So there is an item in Hera basement. And looks like we're going to head over to Hookshot Cave again. Also almost got stuck on that rock. We are still 1 bump too high, unfortunately. We know that there's nothing there, but HolySmoke doesn't, and that's 4 items that are in logic. This clip is in logic, so... MrByer finds the Cane of Burner. And it's gonna finish up heading through Pod. HolySmoke is using a mirror wrap here to get into Laser Bridge from Turtle Rock. This is not in logic. We are never expected to enter Laser Bridge before directly in Turtle Rock. We are expected to either clip into the middle or use the medallion to get into the front, but it can be a lot quicker to navigate the dungeon backwards, especially with the mirror. If you find the ice rod along the way with Fire Rod and Samara, we can just mirror back to Laser Bridge. So we see MrByer progressing through pod. We haven't mirrored out, which makes me think we're going to see a basement clip from MrByer here. Yeah, we did see a glove in the big chest there, so that was one of the things that we needed. And yeah, it looks like we're setting up for a basement clip here, so we're going to make the Samaria block fly away at the same time as picking it up, and that leaves us with holding an invisible block, which lets us, after we've armed super speed, which lets us get super speed here for an easy clip into the bottom of, well, easy, for a clip into the bottom slope here. So this is a rather complicated glitch, but we're going to first perform a teleport, which gets us into the railing here, and then through a complex set of moves, we're going to move pixel by pixel further into the railing, bomb ourselves, and then that will let us dash through the railing, and this skips the hammer requirement that we would normally have. You do have to be mindful of those turtles. They do look like they're out of the way, and they're stuck where they are. So not too much of a problem, I think. We're in position. We're going to put that bomb down, move 1 pixel to the right. There we go. And then dash left to bypass the railing. Very nicely done. Now, of course, we have no hammer, so we are required at this point to kill HolySmoke King with bombs. So you've got to be a little bit careful and know your bomb fight well here, but it looks like MrByer's got... Oh, just missed that last one, but we've still got 4 bombs, 3 bombs, 2 bombs. There we go. And with the gold sword finishes off HolySmoke King. HolySmoke's navigated all the way through Turtle Rock and has unfortunately found pretty much nothing through the whole dungeon so far. See where MrByer is going to head from here. We do have the mushroom to hand in potentially, and looks like that might be where we're heading. HolySmoke finds nothing in TR, unfortunately, so yes, needed to clear through things. We do have the big key and small keys ready to come back later, but no progression, unfortunately. And yeah, we see that turn in, and we get the ice rod out of that. So Turtle Rock now looking nice for MrByer potentially. Of course, he doesn't know anything's not there, but we can complete the dungeon, and we'll get that last check off of Trinex. Meanwhile, HolySmoke is going to head to pod and get our glove. Not sure if HolySmoke knows basement clip, so we'll see if we're actually going to clear out the dungeon or if we're going to have to come back with hammer later. Yeah, I'm also not remembering where mushroom was. We don't have too many places that MrByer has done that HolySmoke has not. I think potentially in the back of Thieves Town. That's the only location. We've followed each other pretty well here, so I think that's one of the only locations that HolySmoke hasn't checked. That MrByer has. So we see the mirror wrap as well from MrByer. Very quick way here. Now, of course, with both rods, we're going to navigate to where we need to go to get the big key and a small key, and then we're probably just going to mirror back. We can re-enter from the front afterwards to look for more items if we need to. But at this point, MrByer is purely in hammer go mode. We got that glove from Palace of Darkness, but like I said, we do need that hammer to clear out Ice Palace. And to get the GT big key in this particular seed. So just a bit of retracing each other's steps here. Right about now we have our other race starting on SpeedGaming Me. So after you've finished here listening to me and watching these guys, you can head over there and catch up on that race. Okay, so it looks like MrByer is going to head all the way to the front. Perfectly fine to do. I'm not 100% sure what's actually faster, whether it's faster to kill Trinex and go back in, or if it's faster to just navigate all the way here. We needed the big key from here, from Chain Jump, so it's definitely faster now just to check the front, I think. Okay, so we're seeing the back of escape here from MrByer as well. and indeed we're seeing the clear up of Thieves Town from HolySmoke. So we're really just looking for that elusive hammer now. HolySmoke does need to go get Ice Rod for Mushroom Turn-In, but if I'm not mistaken, it's going to pick up the mushroom from this dungeon. While MrByer is going to clear up a bit more that HolySmoke did earlier and head into GT. Of course, the hammer could be there. We know it's not, but it's one of our highest density checks left other than Swamp. You don't really want to head into Ice without the hammer, although when it's your go mode, you know, it's debatable what you do, but we need to look for that big key here regardless. Okay, so Mushroom was not here, which begs the question, where was the Mushroom? That is locking HolySmoke's Ice Rod for them. I am not certain, so we're gonna have to wait for that to turn up. Ball there for MrByer, but we make it through with Cane and Burner afterwards. Can be a risky room. There is a strat to do that without any invulnerability items, but dashing up, and then dashing down, and then dashing back up again. But often you just kind of face tank the damage and try and get through. So Hookshot Cave is actually the other location that MrByer has done that HolySmoke has not. So that's going to be a bit unfortunate for HolySmoke if that's where the mushroom was, because we've seen HolySmoke try to get in a couple of times, unfortunately, and just be on that wrong bump. Now we've got the glove, we could just go in the normal way, but could have had that mushroom earlier if it is indeed here. Which I think it is in this top chest now I'm thinking about that. MrByer gets the news that there is nothing in GT, no big key, and yeah, there is the mushroom for HolySmoke. So that's gonna get them their Ice Rod. Probably gonna check that soon. We don't have much else in terms of big density to check. But that's mostly likely gonna lead HolySmoke to just retracing their steps into Turtle Rock for a minute. It is quick with that mirror clip that we've seen them use a few times. We see MrByer heading up. Now I mentioned earlier we might not see them use the small key to open up Swamp, but in this case we already have full Maya access, which means using that small key here is perfectly safe because we can get to Hera from Maya and use one of the Maya small keys to open the Hera basement if we really need to later on. Swamp is in logic without the hammer completely, so we can check everything there. MrByer kills Moldon, but does not take the pendant. We don't know what's on Ped, but looks like we're going to instead head straight to Swamp Palace. And yeah, HolySmoke gets their Ice Rod, so we'll see where they decide to go after that. There is, of course, an item on Trinex, but in fact, I think maybe we found all the items, which means for HolySmoke, we'll probably just leave that for right before climbing GT. Yeah, so Hammer can be on Ped with Pendant Swamp. Hammer is not required for Swamp Palace. Although we typically use Specky Clip to bypass that first trench, there is a hammerless way to do it as well, which is it's very slow, but you clip in, you drain the dam, you drain the, you clip in, you go all the way to the front, you come back from Hera, you drain this this drainable channel that MrByer is currently in, and then you go back to Hera once more, and you clip again. Instead of going right to the lever, you go left instead, and so when you clip through, you'll put exactly on them pegs, and so you get to choose which way you go. With Specky Clip, we virtually never go right. It is incredibly slow, but there's definitely a seed out there where it sucks to not do that. The other option is you can fake Clipper if you wanted to bypass that instead. So we see MrByer coming through Swamp Palace, is going to exit out the front, mirror twice, drain the dam and go back in. So we had to mirror twice there because we came from Hera into Swamp, and Swamp is in the Dark World, Hera is in the Light World, which meant we were in fake Dark World, and using the mirror because we're in fake Dark World, we're technically in the Light World. The game lets us use the mirror because we are in fake Dark World, but it does nothing because we were actually in Light World, so it puts us in real Dark World. Then we have to go back to real Light World to drain the dam. So MrByer did open a couple of chests coming from Hera. Now there are only the big chests from Hera and Swamp that are in logic to open cross dungeon, but there is no danger in opening any of the ones coming from Hera or Maya into Swamp, because the small key that you potentially absorb is already being used. You've used the one from the other dungeon. The big key can slow things down a little bit, but if you've got the big key from the other dungeon, it's relatively quick to get back here or do it beforehand like we saw MrByer doing. And we've seen HolySmoke follow MrByer in here, so MrByer is up by that pod clear thanks to basement clip. So it's really going to be down to where this hammer is and which one of our two runners finds it first. See MrByer heading straight to the back here, not heading to left side Swamp. There are 4 dungeon items in Swamp, given the big key, small key, and the map compass, so left side is usually not that lucrative. We do see a big key and a small key here. I was not keeping an eye on whether we found the map or compass yet, though. Well, there's the map, so we're guaranteed at least one item on left side Swamp. And HolySmoke just following through, doing exactly what I described before. Yeah, so if we found compass as well, that puts 2 items on left side Swamp. So if we don't find the mirror, don't find the hammer, potentially see both of our runners heading back in to do left side Swamp for 2 items. It is slow, but we're rapidly running out of checks. MrByer finishes off Argus, bring him to 6 crystals and 1 pendant. The green pendant, of course, which does give us an extra item check. But no hammer as of yet. Not heading back in, so we're gonna leave left side swamp for a little bit here. We'll try to remember that there's 2 items there, potentially come back when it's the last thing we have to do. And probably gonna go hand in that green pendant instead. Potentially with a refill for bottles if we need any potions, but I'm not sure that we do. Handing in that green pendant, just a green rupee in trade for a green pendant. Sahasrara flattened it out a bit for us and gave it a straight back. Okay, MrByer is going to head to Hyrule Castle here, something that HolySmoke did quite early. But has quite a few items in it that MrByer hasn't seen yet. Beyond this, I think we are limited down to Skull Woods, the back of Skull Woods, Ice Palace, Magic Bat, I think neither runner has done yet. And I think that's pretty much it for the items not checked, for the locations not checked, so we don't have a lot left to go. And we see HolySmoke clearing off Argus there quite nicely. So, nothing for MrByer out of Hyrule Castle. Go check Dark Cross here and then see where we're going to head. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, Ice Palace isn't in logic technically without our mitts, but both runners do know the tech to get there. So although the mitts can't be there, the hammer can be there, so we'll see what they decide to do. HolySmoke does decide to continue on to left side swamp. So this is going to give us those last 2 checks that we did not see from MrByer. Could potentially give HolySmoke the leg up if we find something actually useful there. MrByer's heading back to East Death Mountain without the hammer and without mitts. This is potentially a Skull Woods play. We can jump off the map and do a map wrap all the way from the right side to the left side. And HolySmoke pulls the mitts from left side swamp. So that unlocks a few extra checks for us, namely the Smith Chain and Ice Palace in logic. So MrByer he jumps off the screen, wraps around, and then transitions left. This puts us all the way on the other side of the map. We have to be very careful. We can only go left. We cannot move a single pixel right. If we move right at all, we hard lock and we have to reset our consoles and go again. HolySmoke, it looks like we're going straight for those Smith checks. They are the only checks that are hard locked by the mitts. Everything else that we require mitts for, we can get around the requirement. So depending on how behind you feel, finding those on left side swamp, you know, you may feel better about doing this. And we can root in that magic powder check that I'm pretty sure we haven't done yet on either runner's side. MrByer's gonna go up and clean their second pendant dungeon. And potentially check pedestal after this. If it is on ped, it's just a quick trip to Tower of Hera for MrByer to get that third pendant. If we don't find what we're looking for already in Swamp Palace. So we get the Smith check here from HolySmoke, just as MrByer drops into a very quick fight from MrByer, very nicely done. And just 300 rupees on HolySmoke's side. That is true. We can get around mitts for the Smith. Very much lesser known tech, I think. There's a few options, if I'm not mistaken. We can technically mirror jump and we can YBA. I say lesser known because I don't know them. So, okay, we see the flute on pedestal on MrByer's side. So, no hammer today. But we're definitely not going to be getting that flute. HolySmoke checked magic bat, found nothing, is now going to go turn in that purple chest. Let's see what we get. MrByer is clearing out Skullwoods here. There's still at least one item here to find. This purple chest has the hammer. So logically required those mitts from left side swamp to get the mitts to hand in Smith and get our purple chest for our hammer. That does put HolySmoke into go mode. We do have to clear Pod still, and Ice, and TR. We are behind Pod and TR compared to MrByer, but I don't see MrByer going back for those mitts on left side swamp anytime soon, unfortunately. So unless we do one of them slightly rarer glitches I just mentioned, we'll have to see how the rest of this plays out. HolySmoke takes the mitts and goes, and the mitts and hammer, and goes straight into Ice Palace. At this point, the only thing we could find that would really be helping us is the silver arrows, but we may or may not see HolySmoke opening chests here. Often we'll just open chests along the way that are very, very quick to get to on the off chance. MrByer doing the flippers wrap to Magic Bat, so this is not in logic, but it's legal. Again, it's a wrap that is very easy to hard lock, and that's why it's been removed from the logic. We see HolySmoke skipping the chest here. As I said, it's a slow chest. We may check this one, yeah, but anything that we're not immediately walking past the front of the chest, we're just going to ignore at this point. So MrByer leaving the portal there means we are not going to be getting the Smiths on this trip. I think we're probably doing, yeah, checkerboard cave here. We didn't see that earlier from MrByer, given the lateness of our glove and the other one, which we know MrByer doesn't have. Meanwhile, HolySmoke is dropping into Ice Palace. It's gonna kill off Cold Stare. Start with Bombos into Fire Rod and Gold Sword, make it a very, very quick fight. Yeah, nicely done by HolySmoke. MrByer has headed back to Hera, so this looks like we're going to be heading back to Swamp. Now, HolySmoke still has to clear TR and Pod, but MrByer has to get their mitts beeline for the Smith and Purple chest for that hammer, and then clear out Ice Palace. Now, we did just see HolySmoke showed us that Ice Palace is not a very long dungeon if we're not checking anything, and we can use Icebreaker to get through there, so this could end up being a very tight race. Of course, the other thing that hammer gives us is the entire of left side GT, which is going to give us the big key which we need to climb. And indeed, we see MrByer here in Swamp Palace. We're not going to bother resetting the dungeon to Swamp State. We don't care about it. We're going to pick up the key that we need from the bit that we normally flood. My brain is eluding that word from me. In fact, we don't even need to because we came from Hera, so we've got the pegs already in the right state. HolySmoke straight back to Pod with that hammer. This will tie them up with MrByer for crystals. Okay. We did pick up that small key, that will let us do Hera Basement like I mentioned earlier, but we know we don't need to be there. Get the mirror shield. And we get our mitts on MrByer's side as well. Oh, so we are going to use that small key for Hera Basement here. This is a little bit of time back to HolySmoke in what is unfortunately going to be a very close race. So this kind of a slow check, but potentially the best time to do it while you're here. HolySmoke clearing off Helmasaur King. We have the hammer this time, unlike MrByer, so no worrying about our bomb count. 17 hits, and the mask comes off. Gold sword, 2 slashes, and away it goes. MrByer checks Hera Basement just for a heart piece. So HolySmoke is now at this point, I would say, pretty assuredly ahead. We've just got Turtle Rock to clear out, which is a very quick mirror clip, as we've seen a few times. MrByer still has to get that hammer. We do see him attempting to set up a fake flute here, which would be the quickest way to Vu, and to that Smith. And does indeed look like that's where we're heading. Of course, like I said before, we use this in Dark World, which means as soon as we transition, we're in the Dark World, and the Smith is right here for us. Unfortunately, we don't even have GT routing to affect the seed much, given that we both already checked full right side. We know that we're going to see that big key in Stalfos room, Firebar room, or in Rando room, or Fire Snake. We see HolySmoke doing that mirror wrap into Turtle Rock. Going to finish off Trinex. MrByer, meanwhile, is picking up that purple chest. Now, I don't think we've got anything else to do on the way down, so we can just bail on the purple chest and make our way down to Gary to hand it in. This works because we don't actually lose the follower state while we're in the dark world, and so by mirroring on the screen, we can hand in the purple chest quite easily, and it's a nice clip to get down there very fast. MrByer gets his hammer, has to head over to Ice Palace, but meanwhile HolySmoke is just finishing off Trinex, so definitely a little bit behind, unfortunately. Yeah, and with that, it just leaves HolySmoke heading to GT. MrByer are going to make their way through Ice Palace, going to skip absolutely everything, just as we saw HolySmoke doing. Of course, it's not over until we see that mosaic and cross over into the Triforce room, so we're going to see how this all ends out. MrByer checking that same chest for silvers. If you get them there, that's very nice. But it's going to be the last chest that they check in Ice Palace, most likely. Now, with the hammer, we can head left side GT, and we're going to first check here in Stalfos room. See what we can pick up. And no big key here. So we're looking in map chest, fire snake room, or rando room for that big key. Here, rando room with 4 checks, fire snake room with just the 1 for us. Potentially going to open an extra chest in rando room if we get it early there. Again, them silvers showing up can be particularly nice. MrByer meanwhile clears out Cold Stare and is going to head straight up to GT alongside HolySmoke. Just the blue boomerang in fire snakes, so we're going to get our big key here in rando room. And then it's a quick mirror and climb. Yeah, there it is, and indeed we're going to check these last 2 chests, and we find the silvers. Not much need to check these last 2 at that point. Oh, we did need the small key, actually. Nope, we didn't. I thought that said 0 to 1, but it didn't. So those last 2 chests are a bit superfluous. We've already got all 4 swords. We've got our silvers. Not much is going to help us at this point. So the difference between the 2 runners now is pretty much that basement clear. Now, there's no chance MrByer does anything different than HolySmoke here. This is the most efficient way you can go left. You're not going to go to rando room just to have to come back. That is a little bit too much of a risky play at this point in time. An unfortunate fall by MrByer. And clean gauntlet 1 and 2 from HolySmoke. Sazak's being a little evasive in Gauntlet 3. it through. Nice spooky fire rod shot onto the Stalfos and clearing up that last Zazak. To head into Moldon 2, MrByer is just going to head into Rando room in a second and get their big key. Oh, we do miss the third silver on Lambo 2 here. Oh, and unfortunately miss it again. HolySmoke attempting to make this a closer race for us. MrByer gets their big key, gets their silvers, also checks the last two chests. Gets the small key. The second small key does mean that we don't have to kill the mini helmet at the top. And means that we're definitely not going to be opening any chests. Yeah, unfortunately no Spleeb downright this seed. Next time, Spleeby. Okay, and we see MrByer starting the climb. Just misses that fairy, unfortunately. But Red Mail still on 8 hearts. We should be pretty comfortable. And with those 2 keys, like I said, we don't need to check anything here. We're not going to kill the mini Helmer, we're not going to open the chests, we are just going to beeline straight for Act 2. Filling up on these fairies and then the full magic here. Moldon a little bit stuck in the corner. Okay. MrByer meanwhile through G1, G2. Bit of an easier time with the Zazaks. And HolySmoke finishes off Moldon. Not going to open our last chest. And enters the Agatu fight. MrByer does get all 3 silvers off. HolySmoke looks like it's a 1 for first cycle. 1 for the second. 1 for the third, I think, as well. This is some unlucky... it's 4 and 5 on that cycle, and then there's going to be 1 more to finish it off. Goes for the Clipe. Doesn't quite make it. MrByer, meanwhile, finally making it to the top of GT. We're going to see exactly the same. Skip all of those chests, refill on the anti-fairies, and head straight to Moldon 2 and Agatu. HolySmoke drops in to the Ganon fight. We've got gold sword, we've got silvers, we've got everything we could want to get this done quickly. Six hits with the gold sword, phase 1 and phase 2. Into phase 3 and into phase 4 just as MrByer enters the Agatu fight. 4 silvers and it will be all over. MrByer gets 2 on the first cycle there, I think. 1 on the second. HolySmoke finishes Ganon and is going to finish out the seed with an official time of 1 hour, 35 minutes and 8 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for HolySmoke. MrByer just finishes up Agatu gets the Clipe. Not quite enough time to save any time here, but we're going to see MrByer finish this one out. So we're going to be joined by HolySmoke here. GG's HolySmoke. Yeah, well done on playing that one through. How did you feel about that?
That was pretty nasty seed, I gotta say. Oh god.
Yeah, it was a interesting one for sure. So we got MrByer just finishing up Ganon here, just entering phase 3. So it was close in the end. The big turnaround was actually those mitts on left side swamp, which I'm sure could potentially imagine. MrByer did basement clip, so didn't need that hammer for pod, but still needed it for ice. So it was a bit closer than it might have been otherwise, but MrByer left the 2 items on left side swamp after clearing it. So yeah,
you're not doing purple chest without mitts. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, and we were discussing a little bit. It's possible, but it's very rare to see anything like that. So MrByer eventually did go back to left side swamp before you'd you know, just as you were making progress, but you did have your 7th crystal. I think just as you were finishing up your climb, MrByer was starting it basically. So, and GG's to MrByer as well, who finishes with a time of 1 hour 36 minutes and 59 seconds. Nope, that can't be right. It is. Your timer just happens to say exactly the same time.
Yeah, it's a race time timer.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll see if MrByer wants to join us in here for the interview. Yeah, so we were, I mean, you guys followed each other kind of back and forth. There wasn't huge divergence. There was, you know, little bits of divergence, and then you would join back up and do what each other did, and again and again and again and again. So it was very close all the way through. It was really just that decision at the end to skip left side swamp that hurt MrByer, unfortunately.
I was so sad to miss the Eastern rep because I dashed too early.
Yeah, okay, so you were going for the rep, and we are joined by MrByer. GG's MrByer.
Hey, MrByer GG.
Yeah, so
sorry, I'm muted.
No worries.
I'm assuming Smoke didn't do nearly as much as I did.
Oh no, you both did quite. You did very similar, but unfortunately, Smoke did not leave left side swamp after finishing off Argus. I think the big difference is HolySmoke didn't do most of Skullwoods, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I didn't do anything with Skullwoods.
I think other than ice, I literally did everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, HolySmoke finished off Argus, then went back in for left side swamp. Now, at that point, you were still ahead because of the basement clip, so you had already cleared out pod, which HolySmoke had to go all the way back through. But by the time you went back, it was a little bit too late. It was about the GT basement between you in the end.
Yeah, I left side swamp deliberately because that was how I was gonna get my hierarchy back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's why I did. Although I don't know how necessary that was because I made like 3 different backups for hierarchy. So I don't think I needed to do it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I discussed a little bit of the options there. Like, if you really needed to, you could of course come all the way back from Maya if you needed to. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at some point you're going to make these decisions. Yeah. Yeah, these are the decisions that we make, and that's how it goes, unfortunately. So we had a very open seed, Moonpearl, super early for both of you. Most things went smoothly. We had that unfortunate soft lock from Smoke trying to do the Eastern map wrap and getting stuck, being told not to sneak into race game instead.
Yeah, I think my dash was a bit too high, so it ended up being a hop.
Yeah.
Well.
No, we got to see some cool things. We got to see some really nice overworld jumps from MrByer going down to Bombo's tablet, as well as the basement clip was great to showcase.
Ooh, nice one.
Yeah, not so much of the traditional HMG logic for Hera and everything, but we did have to go through Swamp anyway, so we did see you guys both unlock that, as well as in the end, MrByer clearing out left side Swamp in Hera state, which was cool. And as we're seeing on MrByer's screen, the flute sitting on the pedestal there.
Wow.
We had a bit of a discussion because Hammer could have technically been there as well, so...
Now that I think about it, the tools for Swamp were very early. Something I noticed pretty early on. You got hook, flippers, and mirror really fast.
Yeah.
So I was kind of suspicious of Swamp for a while.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally justified. You also got Ether super early with Moonpearl. Ether, like Maya, was also completely open. So no matter what, whether Swamp was vanilla smoky or not, it was open for pretty much the whole seed. But you both took a very long time to decide to go there. It made sense. There was a lot of things you could have done, could have otherwise done, and you did. But yeah. So I don't think I have too much else to add. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to talk about the seed or anything, or questions you have for the other one.
Well, I think the seed speaks for itself.
Do you guys have game 2 planned already?
Not yet, but it's gonna be a while if I understood that correctly.
Probably next week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. We have plenty of matches on in the meantime, so we will look forward to game 2 from you guys. I'm gonna say GG's to both of you again. If you want to see more HMG, we've got Officio Alex 2K versus Breadcoon over on SpeedGaming 1 happening. Well, they should be about an hour into it, and then later on today, US or in the middle of the night, EU, we've got Chex Human versus Malmo on SpeedGaming 2. So I will say thank you everybody for watching. Thanks you guys for running. Thanks SpeedGaming for hosting us here, and hopefully we'll
thank
see you
you for soloing this.
Yeah, no problem. All right, take care, everyone. We have plenty of matches on in the meantime, so we will look forward to game 2 from you guys. I'm going to say GG's to both of you again. If you want to see more HMG, we've got Officio Alex 2K versus Breadcoon over on SpeedGaming 1 happening. Well, they should be about an hour into it, and then later on today, US or in the middle of the night, EU, we've got Chex Human versus Malmo on SpeedGaming 2.